perfect raising hands, let's bring this alive in a long flowing script, like a speech or documentary narration. I'll follow the structure I shared and keep it engaging, rich, and smooth. Crescent Moon, the story of Islamic civilization. Introduction. In the deserts of Arabia, where shifting sands held secrets of forgotten empires, a light rose in the 7th century that would change the course of human history. From humble beginnings in Mecca and Medina, a civilization was born, not built upon the ruins of others, but upon faith, knowledge, and unity. This was the Islamic civilization, a beacon that for centuries illuminated the world. Early foundations. It began with the message of Prophet Muhammad. In a society divided by tribes, he preached the oneness of God and the equality of humankind. His mission laid the foundations of a community bound not by bloodline, but by faith, justice, and mercy. After his passing, the leadership of the rightly guided caliphs expanded Islam beyond Arabia into Persia, Byzantium, and North Africa. But their conquest was not only of land, it was of hearts, ideas, and systems. Umar ibn al-Khattab established courts, markets, and fair taxation. Ali ibn Abi Talib emphasized wisdom and justice. In these formative years, administration, governance, and moral order became pillars of a rising civilization. Golden Age of knowledge. Then came the Golden Age, a time when the world looked toward the Muslim world for answers. Baghdad, founded by the Abbasids, became the city of peace, home to the House of Wisdom, where scholars translated the works of Greece, India, and Persia into Arabic. Here, Al-Khwarizmi gave birth to algebra. Ibn Sina wrote the Canon of Medicine. Al-Razi studied diseases and treatments, and Ibn al-Haytham explored optics, laying the foundation for modern physics. They didn't just preserve knowledge, they expanded it, challenged it, and passed it on to future generations. Art, architecture, and culture. But Islamic civilization was not only about books and theories. Its beauty was etched in architecture and art. The domes of Istanbul, the palaces of Granada, the mosques of Cairo, and the gardens of Samarkand reflected a culture where faith and beauty intertwined. Calligraphy replaced statues, geometry replaced idols, and art became a form of devotion. In Cordoba, street lamps lit the city at a time when much of Europe lived in darkness. Libraries flourished with hundreds of thousands of books, where scholars of all faiths, Muslims, Christians, and Jews, worked side by side. Trade and economy. Commerce, too, was a lifeline. From the Silk Road to the Indian Ocean, Muslim merchants carried not just goods, spices, silk, and gold, but also ideas, inventions, and values. The concept of the check, the institution of banks, and organized markets were all gifts of Islamic economic thought. Administration and governance. Governance reflected balance. Shura, consultation, guided decision-making. Justice was so central that when Umar ibn al-Khattab once faced a legal case, he stood equal to an ordinary citizen before the judge. Centuries later, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz revived this spirit, ruling with such fairness that historians called him the fifth rightly guided caliph. Decline and challenges. Yet, no civilization is eternal. With time came internal divisions, political rivalries, and invasions. The Crusades struck from the west, and the Mongols from the east. Baghdad, once the jewel of knowledge, fell to flames. Later, European powers rose with technologies inspired by Islamic knowledge, and colonization weakened Muslim lands. Legacy and influence. But decline did not erase the legacy. Europe's Renaissance, its revival of science, art, and philosophy, drank deeply from the wells of Islamic scholarship. Terms like algebra, algorithm, and even words like sugar and cotton trace their roots back to Arabic. The scientific method, hospitals, libraries, and universities all bear the imprint of Islamic thought. Conclusion. The story of Islamic civilization is not just about the past. It is about timeless lessons, that knowledge is light, justice is strength, and unity is power. Today, as the world faces new challenges, we can look back and be inspired by an age when the Quran's command to read ignited a movement of learning, when scholars saw no conflict between faith and reason, and when cities across the Muslim world became centers of wisdom, art, and hope. Islamic civilization reminds us that greatness is not inherited, it is built. And just as it once rose from the deserts of Arabia to shine upon the world, so too can it rise again, wherever knowledge, justice, and faith walk hand in hand. Sparkles, that's a long script-style narration, polished like a speech or documentary. Do you want me to make this even longer, like a full